Shake here, back with another Get Flanked replay. Today I'm playing with Dwight and our buddy Dooman, who has the honor of grinding the SU-101. So we decided to help him out a bit, ready up our IS-3s, and we find ourselves in a Tier 10 game on Ensk. It's sort of a light Tier 10 game. They only have one Tier 10 and two Tier 9s. So even though we're bottom tier, we're feeling pretty confident. Ensk is a great map for the IS-3, and if Dooman plays his tank right, the 101 is a great tank on Ensk as well. So the IS-3 thrives in the city area on Ensk, so Dwight and I are going to push in that direction. Dooman's going to come with us. I decided to record this replay because it has some good examples of isolation, in particular Dwight, Dooman, and I identifying tanks that are isolated on the map, and using our combined firepower to eliminate isolated tanks. It helps us claw back from a pretty serious deficit mid-game. I make a mistake here. I forget that in encounter you can't see through these buildings, so I hang a quick right and try to catch up with Dwight. We see their bulldog pushing really aggressively into this courtyard, which is a bad move by him. We're going to catch him out and not let him escape. I rotate my attention to this E5 that's in the middle. Again, kind of isolated. We sort of control the middle. So I'm able to play this corner and maybe get some shots on him, or at least help out our bulldog, who ends up being pushed by this panther. I'm going to get a shot in on him to try to help him out. But there, E5 gets really aggressive, and I sort of underestimate how aggressive he gets, and he ends up getting a shot in on me. And we're sort of getting steamrolled in the field, but we're holding pretty well in the city. Able to play this corner pretty well against the tanks that are pushing up the middle. And then you see here Dwight and Dooman sort of identified an opening. These IS-3s aren't being very aggressive, which means that this E5 potentially can be isolated and focused down really quickly. So you'll see them hang a turn down the F line, and they're going to push in behind this E5, and we're going to try to eliminate it as quickly as possible. So once they engage, I can pull out because I know he's going to be turning his turrets. And even though we're tier 8s, we're able to gun him down very quickly. So now it's time to move on to the next isolated tank that we want to identify, which is this KV-4. And you'll see Dooman and Dwight start pushing on him. I'm thinking, okay, maybe I need to play the corner here against these IS-3s, but then I decide, you know what, we're down 4 to 10. I need to stick with Dwight and Dooman, and we need to focus down some tanks. And they work down this KV-4 pretty quickly. So now it's time to move on to the next tank. These tanks in the north are pretty weak HP-wise, so we feel confident in pushing for them. I take a bad shot at this light tank, but he's sort of going off to no man's land, so I don't really care about him anymore. I'm going to reload and get a kill on this Tier 9 TD. So now, in contrast to us isolating tanks, our 113 is isolated. There's two IS-3s looking at him, and this third IS-3 is going to push in on him. So we start moving back towards him to help him out. He does a nice little juke here, and I miss my shot. But my teammates are a little bit better, and they hit all their shots. Again, another light tank's like going to no man's land, so again, I ignore him, and we identify the next isolated tank, which is this IS-3. So we're going to push on him. This team, this opposing team, other than their play in the field, they never really concentrated forces and worked down any targets, even though they were up by a lot of tanks pretty early in the game, and it really cost them. So now, just like the 113 was, Dooman's isolated, so we need to rush back towards him to help him out as much as possible. We see this T-95 rolling up the middle, which is a little bit worrying, so we're going to do what we can to help Dooman, but we also are going to have to get safe. That's another classic shake track shot. But yeah, so you can see us getting safe here from the T-95, and we end up finishing off the Bulldog to help Dooman out. And now Dwight and I know this T-95 is isolated, so Dwight's going to push him, try to get behind him. I'm going to try to split his attention as well, take a bad shot, but Dwight is at his side now, and it's hopefully going to track him, but he doesn't, so that means I'm going to take a T-95 hit here. But it doesn't matter, because the game's over at this point. We work together to identify isolated tanks and eliminate them as quickly as possible. Even though we were down by a whole lot, we were able to claw back and really carry this game all the way to the end. And here's a quick look at the end plate. This was a mastery badge for me. I also got a Confederate. You can see that our platoon plus the 113 really carried it for our team. And it came down to sort of sticking together, identifying tanks we could isolate, and working them down really quickly so we didn't take a lot of damage, and just moving from isolation to isolation until we had eliminated their whole team. And sometimes that's what it takes to win. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.